Hi, this is 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐞, and I have autism spectrum disorder. You could read more about it from my first-hand experience in my book, or on my YouTube channel, or somebody else's book or YouTube channel to find out more about it. But I have to get this story out because I will probably rest better because I have to talk it out. There's nothing I can do about it. This is going to be like my other videos in the past, so if you don't want to watch it, please don't. It's just my way of coping and releasing and trying to find closure into what happened. That's all. So yesterday I was taking a walk for like 4.5 hours. I've been walking every day from between like 2 and 5 hours every day for the last 3 weeks, but I love walking just around the neighborhood as a catharsis. But yesterday something happened at the Ralph's, or by the Ralph's CVS pharmacy in Newport Beach down East 17th Street. And if you know me or follow me or read chapter 17 of my book or other places in my book, you know that I'm typically the one singled out, or I mean not the one, but you know, because I'm autistic, I'm usually singled out because I can't help how I look, how I walk, how I sound, how I talk. But I was just walking by CVS Pharmacy by Ace Hardware, and I look over and I see a man just staring at in my direction. And so I just continued to walk, and he's still staring at me. I continued to walk, and he's still staring at me. And I just continued to really, you know, look back and wonder, is he really staring at me? And so I just walk in that direction, and as soon as I started to turn his way, he really looked very grumpy, slammed the door, and walked over to Ralph's, and he was brisk walking. He was brisk walking. It looked like he was mumbling to himself. He was shaking his head and such. I mean, this was a competent man, I'm sure. This wasn't a person who was drunk, otherwise he wouldn't be by a car and such, which was his car. And he kept stomping his way over to Ralph's, and that's where I happened to go into. So when I went inside Ralph's, I was just looking around. I looked to my left, and there he was again, just looking my way. But as soon as we made eye contact, he quickly looked away. So all this time I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, and you know, I browse and he browses and such, and then I exit. And there I was outside by this exit, and I looked, and he was exiting at the same time. And as soon as he saw me, he dropped a smile and quickly went the other way. I mean, this was quick, and he had to like back up and walk the other way. So that's how I'm like 100% positive there was something about me. And he never said anything to me. He never said hi. I never said anything to him. This was a first sight thing. I was instantly profiled just on how I look. And he just kept on storming that way. And I looked, and there he goes, mumbling again, like mumbling and shaking his head and all that, and looking very mad, and he gets to his car. So there's a man from Tennessee, or around Tennessee, I think that's where he's from, somewhere in Orange County, that just is a discriminator toward autistic people on first sight. It's like, what are you going to do, wish us dead or something like that? I mean, we can't live here on Earth, or do you want us to move to another state or another world or somewhere? Because that's exactly what these people who have treated me like this, and who have treated other people with other forms of disabilities, developmental or physical. And it's like, we can't help who we are, and that's why I'm fighting hard to get my voice and encourage other people's voices to get out there so that this wouldn't happen. And you know, I have to talk things out. I tried not to, but I gave it like 24 hours, and here I am in front of the camera, my new camera by the way, and I'm talking it out. And of course I hope I'm not boring YouTube by these stories, but I feel like, number one, it has to be exposed so that people could just put aside their differences. Two, I can't function unless I talk it out. Last night, in fact, life kind of proved to me that I have to talk it out, because guess who appeared in my dream last night? That man. And again, there's nothing I can do about it. But here's the strange thing. So in my dream, I saw that man, I recognized him, and ultimately he recognized me. He was going into a building, and then he saw me and stopped himself and pointed at me and said that I just reported you to the cops, basically. And so that's when I finally did what I wanted to do in real life, which was to just educate him on just who we are. We're autistics. We can't help who we are. We could do amazing things. Yeah, there's some things that we would rather not have, but anyway. And the strange thing is he was two different people at the same time, or something happened, because if you've been following me since last August at least, then you know my story about being discriminated by this man 2 days in a row, August 18th to the 19th, 2017. I have that on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's like 47 minutes if I tell the whole story. And that was the first time in 3 years that I've told a living soul of what happened. But that man in the park in 2017 was also in my dream, in the appearance of this man from yesterday, 2 different people. So that's how crazy dreams are. I can't really explain it, but you know, it's like I recognized 2 people inside one person in my dream, and it made sense in my dream. I know it doesn't make sense now, but that's what happens. All these things always infiltrate my dream, and then I wake up feeling, you know, this forlorn feeling. It's hard to explain, but anyway, I'm just thankful that of my family and friends that I do have. I'm thankful for the support that I've received on YouTube and elsewhere on Facebook and such, from people who really make me feel alive, because as I've said to a few of these friends of mine, honestly, you're better friends to me than I've ever had in person. Not that I didn't have such friends here in person, but you know, it was just too far in between each other. So anyway, I just had to let that out. Hopefully I could get some rest tonight. And I want to encourage that if you're going through this, whether you have a physical disability, a developmental disability, or whether you're profiled because of, you know, the color of the skin or your ethnic background, or even if you have an allergy, for crying out loud, I mean, you should not be bullied or discriminated. And you need to tell people how you feel. Don't hold things inside, which was my fault for 20 years or so, until I learned I need to get these things out and such. So I encourage you to find your voice and to explain to people how you feel, and that will bring awareness and ultimately acceptance in such a dark world that we live in, a world filled with a lot of hate and strife and such. But in that world we could find a lot of friends and camaraderie. So wherever you're at, I hope that you have a nice Father's Day. I'm filming this on June 20th, 2021, and have an excellent rest of your day.